Hello, M.Strange here. It's been a long time since I've been on my desktop, hasn't it? And I have a new desktop. This will be the first of many, 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 many 3D animation, filmmaking, everything that I do, tutorials to come. So this is just a starter. And I apologize if there's like a fan or some noise in the background. All my computers are still rendering the effect shots for my new animated feature film, which is coming soon. So yeah. So what I thought I'd do is that I showed a little preview of the left right video that I was working on that I already finished and sent off to them, so it should go online pretty soon. And a couple of you asked questions, and I'll try to address those and just give you a little overview and maybe some little tips or something from the way I work. So I'm using Cinema 4D version 11.5, and the biggest addition, I guess, because I started the movie using 11 and then went to 11.5, was the addition of the Mograph dynamics. So I really like Mograph. I do a lot of stuff with it. I'll show you some of those things. But the dynamics, I mean, the new 12 has, you can add dynamics to anything. This one, you can just add it to Mograph objects, but still, if you hack a lot of stuff, you can do some pretty cool things. So firstly, about the cell render effect, let me delete this, show you how to apply it. So if you look at this, just the way it is, that's all it is. Yeah, so you'd have to texture it and light it and whatever to look interesting. Since the project, sorry about that cough, I'll never cough again. I probably blew out your eardrums. Oh, did you just hear me swallow tea? I apologize for that. Probably made someone vomit, but whatever. So since this music video is 16-bit, I was like, okay, a wireframe effect would work pretty good. So it's just in here, it's in effects, in your render settings, cell render. And by default, it goes white on black, which might be what you want. And it only does outlines, so you can click edges, right? So you get everything. But I just decided I wanted to do it reverse, like an old vector video game or something. So that's all I did to get that look. And if you have the necessary modules or package, you also have the sketch and tune, but that looks a lot better and it's a lot more flexible, but it takes a lot longer to render. So I chose this one because I wanted to do the whole project in a week. So as you can see, it renders pretty much instantly. So that's why I chose it. So now into this character, let's look at him straight on like this or something. So this character obviously is super basic. It's just cubes. Actually, let's look at his geometry. There's nothing much to see. It's just cubes, and he's made from just the primitives in Cinema 4D. So his head's a platonic that was modified, or was it cube? I don't remember. And then his body is just a cube that I used a bulge deformer on. Yeah, I just put a bulge deformer, and then whenever you have anything using a deformer or whatever, you can go current state to object, and that turns into geometry. So then you can skin it if you want and do other things with it, but I did not do that because I wanted to keep this as simple as possible. So where should we start before getting too crazy? First, let's look at his skeleton. So you don't have to, but I use the Cactus Dan's bundle. I bought all of his plugins actually because they're all awesome. Plugins for character animation and rigging and everything, just because he made this 5-part really awesome tutorial series that I'll put a link to, and that's how I learned how to rig. And he's just a really awesome guy and helps you out, and I found his tools are a little easier to use, a little better than the built-in character tools, but the built-in character tools will do everything you want to, especially in the new version. They have a lot more advanced features, but I use Cactus Dan stuff. So we have the skeleton that's all rigged up, and it's the same skeleton that I used for every single character on my new animated feature film. So I made one rig that worked the way I want to. I spent like a month. It didn't take me a month. It took me like 2.5 weeks. But I told myself I'm going to take a month and really make a super flexible and fast rig that's easy to use that I like. So I made this one, and this one, like a professional character animator or whatever, would be like, oh, it's too basic, blah blah. But I don't really care because I work for speed and it does what I want to do. So this one's good enough. And I made some changes. There's some things I did on this one I didn't do that I don't do normally. So on this one I made the shin and the foot the same thing because I didn't feel like screwing with the ankles. So as you can see, the foot kind of floats around there. This isn't supposed to be there, but I didn't really care about this because I wasn't going to do any complicated ankle movements or whatever. So here's our working rig, right? He can do all this stuff. Whatever you want him to do, he will do. See, his feet shouldn't move like that, but that's because I didn't make this right. So ignore that. You know, he can do everything. I don't need like super crazy controls myself. You know, oh, he can like do this kind of hip thrusting. I didn't do that. But you know, the thing about making rigs, it's like you need to make one and animate, and then you'll find out what controls you want and you need. Because if you go out and just try to make a rig and put a billion controls in it, and then you don't even end up using them, or you make something that's so overwhelming you just can't even work, then you know that's pretty much fail. So I say build the most basic rig you can to start out with, one that's functional, and then add controls from there, because rigging in this whole thing can really get overwhelming and confuse you and scare you. And when I started out, I was really confused and scared, but now it's just like whatever, it's totally easy. So some other people, or Permian, asked about the constraint based rig, or the way that I'm doing this, and I'll show you how I do that. So as you can see, these are just pieces of geometry, right? Let me make the bones invisible. So these are just separate pieces of geometry, and this technique only works with segmented characters. So as you can see, what I did was I broke the character up into all the different pieces that I wanted to move separately, just like a skeleton. So if you think of a skeleton but in your geometry, and if you're doing super low poly stuff or stylized characters, this will work for you too. So the way that I do this, and the way that I can reuse these rigs, is that I have the skeleton, which is right here, which is already made and has all its controls and all its stuff in it. And here's the controllers for the skeleton or the rig, and these work with this. They don't have anything to do with the actual mesh or with any of the polygons. This is the way I work. So these two things have nothing to do with this, right? So then I can move this and this from different characters and then just replace the body, and then I use these constraints, and these are Cactus Dan's constraints here. So as you can see, go back to the attributes manager. So this is the constraint, and the way it works is that, you know, here's the neck, and then you give it a target, which would be the neck bone, and then it snaps into place and follows the neck bone wherever you want it. You can tell it to follow the position, scale, and rotation. And I turn scale off, so then I can scale this the way I want to. And sometimes their axes come in all funky, so then you just have to go into the axis tool and like rotate them and then move into place. But you have to turn this off to do that first by going like this. But anyway, so that's how the constraints work. So if you look through, every single one of these body parts has a constraint on it, and then the constraint is just tied to the bone that matches this part. So it's a system. So you come up with this system. So when I first started, I had like 45 or 50 characters I had to do for the new movie, and I said, you know, I'm not going to build a new skeleton and rig up every single one of them. I'm going to make one that I can use for all of them. So I came up with the system. So that's how this works. And later on, I'll give you my actual my constraint-based skeleton and this whole thing, so that you can just swap out your parts and your characters, and they'll be rigged up. You don't have to worry about it. So that's how that works. Okay, hide that. I hope that was helpful or something. So I was talking about on my blog. Let's see, can I turn colors on or something? Layer color. Let's color his tie. Just so, what color is this? How do we do that again? Use color, always color red. Why didn't that work? I don't know, you see his tie. Okay. So this is a way, I mean, Cinema 4D has cloth, and I mean, cloth sims are cool, right? But let's look at this tie, if you can see it. Actually, this is bugging me. I'm just going to texture it. There's not supposed to be textures in here. You die. You die. Oops. Okay, you're dead. So let's just make it red. Yeah, whatever. What's wrong with you? Layer color. There we go. Okay. So we can see his tie, and it's just two real simple pieces of geometry, nothing fancy, right? And this is what it looks like when it's animated. So, you know, it kind of has this little flowy look, like a tie, right? Like, this is good enough for me. I know it's not physically accurate, and it's popping because this clip's only 2 seconds, so whatever. So it doesn't pop normally. So yeah, it's not physically based or whatever, but for me and for most people, like that, you know, it doesn't really matter. And the sweet thing is, let me turn these off. So that's what it's like normally. Doesn't do anything. So then I put these wind deformers, which Cinema 4D has all of these built-in deformers, which are super easy to use, which, I don't know, a professional might be like, oh, they're too limited. But like, I don't care about what they can do. I only care about what they can do for me, and if they can do what I want, then I don't care about all this other stuff. So they're fine for me, and if you use them creatively, you can do a lot of powerful stuff. So I just added a wind deformer, one to move in this axis, and then one to move on this one, and then, you know, it gave me enough cloth for what I wanted. But when you put these inside of a piece of geometry like this, it's going to affect the whole thing. But as you can see, mine's like kind of rooted, so the top's not moving. So this is a little trick I learned on CG Talk or something from somebody. And the way you do that is by adding restriction tags. So these are these things. So you get them from here, restriction tag. You add them on your deformers, and then use a vertex map to define what should move and what shouldn't. So the yellow, or the 100%, or, you know, it's painted with a higher weight than this stuff, so that's where it moves. And the stuff that's red, which is 0%, it won't move. So you can do that with any of these deformers. So if you use them creatively and in combination, like, you could put 20 of them in here and get some cool stuff. So that's how I did that. And then if you ask me how to paint that, let's look at a sphere. So the way you paint vertex maps is just get an object. You have to make it editable. Go into your little pointer tool and go into point mode, and then change the mode. It's usually on normal to a vertex painting, and then you just paint it. So you set it, if it's 100%, that's going to take like all the power, right? And then if you set it down, you can like fade it or whatever. So this is how you paint a map. And you can use, if you have the Mocha tools, you can use, there's a brush, I think it comes with Mocha, a brush, and then you can apply a smoothness to the whole thing to make it all smooth. That's how I made mine, but that's how you do that. And if you look at his hair, the way I did his hair, if you look, it's kind of like dynamic or undulating. So the way I did this, let's go look and see how I did that hair. So originally I made a piece of, actually, well, see, I remember watching this animation DVD or something somewhere, and the guy was like, the best animation, or it was actually Richard Williams, yeah, he said the best animation is just an advanced application of the basics or something like that. So I just used real basic stuff and then put them together to make like more advanced things. So I'll show you how I made this. I'm pretty sure it was just a pyramid, something like this, with like more segments, or maybe I cut it with a knife. I don't remember. I can't remember. So it was just something like this. I'll make it editable, but I don't think I have to. Then get another deformer, and I think I just used a bend deformer, and I have a shortcut to move stuff in stuff, but I won't do that because you'd be like, why is stuff zipping around magically? Let's turn on deformer so you can see them. And then just put it inside the pyramid, and then if we bend it, you know, we get this little bent action, right? So that's what I did, and then you go current state to object, and then it makes that like a piece of geometry. Then you might want to move the axis like where you want it to come out of, or something like that. Okay, and then this is how I made the hair, so I'll do it real quick. Let's get a sphere, let's scale this down, and then actually I made a hemisphere. Yeah, so something that I don't know, I'm sure other people use them because they're really powerful. So, you know, Cinema 4D, I think started at 11, has these Mograph tools, and they're called Mograph for motion graphics, but you can use them for anything. And I use them for everything except motion graphics, and I think other people should too because they're super powerful. So at the base of Mograph is a cloner object, right? So this is something that you can put. Where's my cloner? Get over here, cloner. Where are you? Okay. So this is something you put pretty much anything you want inside of it, right? And then you can duplicate it in a million different ways. You can. So I'm using just the linear mode, right? So it's pushing it up 50 units on Y or whatever. So, but the mode, if you want to make things, I'm gonna scale this down, like grow out of or be attached to something else, you want to use it in object mode, and then you define the object that it should be stuck to. So you go like that. So you can see already, kind of looks like funky hair or something. So then you have these different modes that you can attach it. Should I do it like that? Make him have emo hair or something? So you change the modes. You can go like this. You can change the count so you get more or less with all of them too. So let's say we want, which one look funnier? This one. Okay. So now we have this, right? Yeah, whatever. And you may be saying, yeah, but it looks too regular. It looks too computer or something. This dude's hair looks like organic. Well, so this is how you do that. So you have these Mograph objects like the cloner, the fracture, and then you have effectors. So they are pretty much special effects that you can apply to the objects in the cloner. So the special effect I use the most is the random effector, and you can already see what it did. So what this does is what it says. It randomizes the things inside the cloner defined by position, scale, or rotation. So if I randomize the scale, I mean the rotation a little bit here, and even the scale, I'll say uniform. So now they're different sizes, right? Oops. So as you can see here, oh, and then what I did too is that I hid the sphere, so you just see the hair. So you can do stuff like that. You can even like go into point mode and like get a magnet. Hey, what are you doing? Get over here. And so I'm moving the points on the sphere inside. Can I not make it invisible? Oh, I guess it has to be visible. So this is a little hack, like trick, So you can go in here. So say this was his face, and you wanted to move the hair out of his face, then you can move the points on the object that's inside of here, right? Or this is how you can kind of style it a little bit, and then make it invisible again. So what I did was I did that, and then I liked the look of the hair, so then I made this editable, which turns it all into separate pieces of geometry. So then if you want, if there's ones in the way, you can just like get rid of them, But then I decided, I was like, oh, I want to make his hair dynamic, like I want to make it move a little bit. So then what I did was say this is his head. So then I got this, and I said, oh yeah, I want it dynamic, right? So actually this is what I did first. I duplicated that. Let's just get two of them. Like that. So that's his hair right on his head. So you can make things dynamic, like give them random movement and stuff. I mean, you can do it here too by hand or whatever, but that doesn't make any sense in 2010. We need a procedural solution. So if they were inside of a cloner still, it would be easy, but they're not. So it's like, oh, what do I do? Well, the easiest thing to do if you want to get objects that are separate pieces and then have them be affected by the Mograph system, just get them all and put them inside of a fracture object. So let's go get all these billions of things. Yeah, there's billions. Put them in this fracture. So then now I can apply effectors to this fracture, but they'll stay in place. That's what I want. So another one I use a ton to get organic movement is a formula effector. And it's kind of amazing how easy this stuff is to use. So check it out. I just apply it on there, and then now you have that. So then let's go turn it down a lot. Hey, oh, it's a scale. It's messing around. Okay, so let's give it a little bit of that. Scale 0.1, a little bit of that. Rotation, I don't think so. So that's how I did his hair, like that. So there's a lot more triangles in that. I must have cut these with a knife. Yeah, that must have been what I did. So where was I? Okay, I showed you a little bit of the Mograph. Let's delete all this stuff. So, I don't know. Do you want to see some... How do you animate a character? How about that? Okay, what are we going to make him do? Let's make him move his arm or something. So the way you do animation in, well, this is the way I do it, whatever. If you've never seen the process before, it's pretty simple. Now again, it's pretty simple if you have a simple rig. So it's just about, I'm going to turn on automatic keyframing, and it's just about, it automatically sets keyframes or has them set from 0 position. So you just move ahead in time, and then, actually let's make them jump. Yeah. So if we're going to follow the principles of animation, we'll have them go down. Why are you animated, camera? Stop that. Turn off automatic keyframing real quick. Okay, stay there. I won't move you. Okay. Turn back on automatic keyframing. So this is going to be a super basic little jump. Dun, 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 and then like our extreme and make them lean backwards or something. Even though his legs are messed up. And then we'll make them hold there for a little bit. And I could like twist them or something. I don't know. Why is the camera moving? 1, 2, 3. And then go up. Yo, I broke my back. Yeah. Okay. And then let's prevent him from breaking his back. Let's animate his neck, but let's give him some overlap. And break his legs too. Yes. Yes. Violence. I'm hurting things inside of the computer. They can do nothing about it. Actually, let me switch to a different camera. They won't keyframe itself. Yo. Okay. Let's fix his legs. It's probably these guys that are causing all the trouble. Why are you such troublemakers? Oh no. Oh. So it's not perfect, but oh. That's the problem with IK. I actually use FK a lot because this can give you problems or give me problems, or maybe I just have problems. But I think he has problems because his legs are going through his dress. But we're not here to solve his problems. We're here to do what we want with this puppet. So let's make his arms go up a little bit and then offset it like that. And would you do that? No, you wouldn't. No. Would I do that? No, I wouldn't. So that's what animation's about. It's about like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, then we'd go like this. It's about looking at what you do and just making the little puppet or doll or whatever you're animating do what you would do, like break your own legs and all that. So this is pretty much it. So I'm gonna go, and I'm just following, like, actually, oh, you know what, I forgot to fix this dude when I was messing with him, because this is an earlier revision of a model. So his tie needs to be in his neck. So then his neck will move. Yeah, there we go. And then let's make his head go up. Then right here, his head will go down, and then at the top go up. Dun, dun, dun. He's like a missile. Show. Now you could sit here and tweak, you know, the stuff forever. And now what you see down here, I'm just messing with the timeline with the regular keyframes, right? So this is just time. Like, you know, you can't look at the curves and like all the fancy stuff yet. Actually, let's animate his face. So I just gave it a couple controls in here. Actually, let's go into wire mode so you can see that. So let's actually start him with the smile, and then let's go into losing his smile, and let's start him with bigger eyes, and then go down to no eyes, and then up with big eyes, and the mouth too, like the wah. So then like that. So let's see how that looks. Let's see if this makes sense in my alternate universe. Yes, it does. Wah! Wah! Kinda. And then what should we make him do? Explode? Okay. What? Explode? Okay, we'll make him explode. Let's save this in case the computer explodes. Or should he keep going higher like a rocket? Okay, yeah, you're right, he should. So this is his null controller. So if I want to like control the whole body, but let's make his head straight up, and let's get his hands and put him here and there. Stop hiding my feet. Go like this and this, because he's going to turn into a rocket. And I messed up his legs again. Sometimes animation is like that, or at least my animation, because I don't claim to totally know what I'm doing perfectly all the time. I kinda know, but as long as I get the results I want, like, I don't care if it's like breaking the rig or perfect or whatever, because I'm a filmmaker that animates, not an animator that makes films or whatever. So we're gonna go pshoo, and then he's gonna take off from here. So let's keyframe his whole rig. So you see there's keys on this whole thing, even though you shouldn't do that because I might want to change the rotation, whatever, but I can just key. So let's actually, if you highlight keyframes and press shift and control, you can delete like a whole set. So let's do that, and then let's go forward in time to like 34, because that's where he's going to blow up. Is this a side view? No, it's not. Is this a side view? No, it's not. Okay. So let's go to here, and he should fly like that or something. Too slow. He's a cheap rocket. Let's see. Oops. How did his head come off? Yeah. Let's undo that. Hopefully his head will come back. Why is your head up there? Apparently I broke the rig somehow. I don't even know how I did that. Yeah, tutorial. See, I told you I didn't know what I was doing. Well, I'm actually in doing this, I'm working in a way that I normally don't work. So, yeah. Well, actually, it's good that his head broke, right? Yeah, we're happy about that. Okay. Yeah, we are. We don't like him anymore, because we're going to explode him anyway. So, let's do this. Okay, you're going to go up there, and you're going to explode. Go ahead and break your head. I don't care. That looks lame. What is this? I don't even know what that is. I don't even care what that is. Okay, you're going to go up. It's kind of a delayed thing, but it looks kind of funny. Then let's make him explode right there. Because if you saw, sorry for getting sidetracked in this video. So if you saw in the music video, or you'll see, I have all these little characters like exploding. So this isn't correct. I wouldn't, yeah, he has kind of a delay in there, which doesn't look right. But the way I made those people blow up was again with one of those fracture objects. So I'll just go and get a fracture object, and you don't have to. Oh, it's already where he should be. Okay. This might like crash the computer and make it take forever. 'Cause sometimes when you put things in here, it does take forever, slows down. But hopefully it will not. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to put him in this fracture object. Does it still work? Okay, it still works. And then I'm going to go to explode segments mode. Okay, did this break the computer? No. Okay. Alright. Now here's a little trick that I'm going to use to do this. Alright, let's get him. So actually, is my camera animated? Yes, it is. Stop animating. We don't want you to animate. Then let's make it a wider lens, something super dramatic like 10 millimeters. So this would be like a super fisheye lens, because I want it looking up. So then when he explodes, you know, we can see it. We can see this torture pornography that we're about to watch. It's just like Saw. So we have this fracture object, right? So the way I made him explode is that I went into the Mograph menu and I got this force object, the force, and it's the force from Star Wars. So it can do pretty much anything. You can throw people off buildings, lift stuff up, kill people, choke them. So this is the mysterious force from Star Wars, which is in the scene somewhere. It doesn't even matter where it is because it's a force. It's everywhere, right? It's not like those mitochondrias or metachlorians or whatever. So what we need to do is attach a Mograph rigid body tag. Turn it off. Or disable it. Keyframe it, and then go ahead of frame and then enable it. So now when we do this, bam, blam, dude should blow up. And I think just his head stayed there. That's pretty sweet. Blam. Because his head must have been in a different hierarchy or something. But, you know, what's that, his face? He's all messed up. Poor little guy. I abused you so much. And I could just keyframe his head and make it fall or whatever. So that's how I did that. I think I screwed this model up though. Yeah, I did. This you're not working out anymore, guy. We're gonna delete you. And let's merge him again. Okay, now you're perfect. Now you look great. You look great. You're gonna be so famous. Yeah, you look great. But we better get the force out of here so it doesn't explode you again. Okay, so now that you saw that, let's make sure we're still in the right mode. Okay. Oh, let me show you how I use Mograph to do those little buildings in the back. So Mograph, I'm going to change it to radial, so it's going to clone things in a circle. Then I just got a simple cube, like that. Let's give it a segment, just because somebody out there wants segments. So now it's going to put them in a circle, change the plane, and then go bonjour. I'm sorry, my assistant wants out of this room, but my assistant's going to have to wait. We can scale the cubes up, make them bigger. Okay, so now he's surrounded by buildings. Let's give him more. Okay, and I mean I could go and put that random effector right and make them more organic, uneven, but I want them to look machine made or whatever. So then again, I'm going to go get a formula effector and turn off the scale, and I only want it to move in the y-axis. And why is it moving? Why aren't you moving? I don't know why you're not moving. Probably because it's on. Oh, there it goes. It's just because they're too far below. So then I want to move the whole thing up. So now you have these weird undulating buildings. Let's make them shorter. So, let's go into lines mode so then you can see them. So then we have these undulating buildings. right? So that's how I did that. And yeah, I pretty much use Mograph for everything, or whenever I can, to automate stuff, because you can build fences, bridges, anything with the repetitive structure you can put in here, and then go crazy. And you can put cloners and cloners and cloners, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's almost like dividing by zero, and bad things could happen, and I will not be held liable for those bad things if they do happen. All rights reserved, trademark, custom, blah 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 law. So now we're going to figure out, I'm going to show you how, actually let's delete all these because you'll be like, you already had them. So I'm going to show you how I colored this in After Effects, because as you can see I only have black and white, right? And you can change the color so that you can have like that or this, right? But no, we want black and white. So okay, so we have the black and white because that's what I want for my base, but I don't want everything black and white, because in my concept art his face was white. So I'm going to show you how I did that. We don't need this anymore. So now I'm going to look at the different polygonal objects in the scene. So I purposely made his face one little polygon, or one piece of geometry. So, oh, you know what? This guy doesn't have it. You bastard. You making me look bad in front of all the people, while the later one had a separate face. So just this, like, let's highlight this polygon. Oops, his normals are backwards. Uh-oh. It doesn't matter though, because I'm not applying textures. So I made this a separate object, and I just did that by going split, and then it was separate one, whatever. But I guess I can do that now. Sure. If that makes you happy. If that's what you want. But I don't want all this crap. Get out of here. Get out of my life. I don't want you. Okay, so now we have his face as a separate thing. Face. So yeah, again, I want to send out mats. So mats are common to visual effects and compositing, if you know what mats are. Alpha mats, blah blah blah, mats. But in Cinema 4D they call them object buffers, but it's the same thing. It's what you use if you want to isolate an element in a scene. So I want to isolate his face, this thing. So then I go into tags, compositing tag, and let's open this up so you can see it better. Over here, compositing tags, and ignore all this stuff for now, or yeah, in this project we won't use it, and just go to object buffers. So I'm going to make this object buffer 1. As you can see, you can have 12. So you can isolate 12 different things in a scene. So I want his face. I also want his tie. Put this in there. And I want them to be different. If they were the same color, I'd put them on 1, but I want the tie to be pink and this to be white, so that's going to go on 2. But then his hands, I want white too. So I'm going to add a tag and put them on 1 too. Because the less buffers you have, the less stuff you have to deal with in your render. So we have his face, his hands, and his tie separate, right? And then I think to show you an example of something else, I'm going to take his whole body and put it on a buffer too, right? And what about those buildings? You want those too? Sure, they're friendly buildings. We'll take them with us on our trip to hell. So let's just, this is a standing guy again. Remember, I turned off the animation, or that guy's dead. So, oh, camera's still there. And this guy's levitating for some reason. He must have came back from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Okay, so we have this fisheye lens, and I'm just going to have a camera move where it comes up to his face or something, like this. Like this. Or actually, not to confuse you, but my render settings are for 1920 by 1080, and I usually have these things on if you press Shift V, so I can see what the actual shot's can be framed like. hey, look at that, it's in my instincts, I still framed it the way I wanted to. So this is the cutoff for 1920 by 802, because that's what I did the movie at. So you don't need anything fancy in the render settings in here, but then you want to turn on multipass. And the weird thing is you have to have the save on, and then here is the image format for your multipass. I use OpenEXR because I'm fancy like that. And they're small. If you're using 16-bit or higher, they're smaller than TIFFs, and they're the best solution. So I recommend using them with the default zip16. So yeah, I want alphas. Why, I don't know, but I want them. And then you go into multipass, and if you don't do anything, it's like, give me multipass. Nothing's going to happen because you have to tell it what passes you want. So we go in here, and first I want RGBA, which is pretty much this. How it looks in your viewport is RGBA, right? And then you see here the object buffers. So we had one, I did that on accident, two, right, number 3, and then the friendly building was number 4. Okay, so now it's going to send out this whole thing, and then it's going to give me mats for these 4. And then ordinarily I'd send out a depth pass and stuff too, but I'm not going to do that right now. And you're probably going, why? I want a depth pass. You do? You want a depth pass? Really? Seriously? Okay, I'll give you a depth pass, but you're going to get pissed off because I'm going to use this plugin that I bought called ZBlur, which I highly recommend. Like the newest version of Cinema 4D that I don't have fixed the problem that the older versions had, where if you used alpha channels on materials to like cut stuff out or whatever, it wouldn't recognize it, but the new one does. But before that, you had to use ZBlur, which is awesome. There's another one called Endofin or something, but I think the ZBlur interface is better, so I bought this one. It's only $60, $70, right? So I'll just flip through this because it's not a tutorial on this. So pretty much what this does, and the reason I like this one, it has a better interface. So this shows you how far your depth pass is going to go, right? So let's just say, you know, we had this dude right here. Can we add that dude? Do we want this guy? Do we? No, we don't. Well, whatever. This shows your depth pass. So let's go like that, and then I have to add that to the multipass, and you add it by adding post effect. Okay. So are you happy now? Are you happy now? You got what you wanted? Actually, let's put more buildings just so you can see the effect of the depth pass. Bigger, more, bigger, better. Okay, and then let's rotate those so they go in those gaps. Okay. So now we have this, and I have all my passes, RGBA, object buffer 1, 2, 3, 4, and my post effects, which is just this. Alright. Oh, I guess I can show you what you can do with After Effects too. So as you can see, there's no lights in here, right? And with this technique, even if I were to try to use a light, I don't think it does anything. No, it doesn't. So that's why I didn't use lights. But let's do this. Let's go look at camera. So now this light's always going to point the camera no matter where you put it. I'm going to duplicate it, put another one over there, because this is how I did the lighting effects in the video, which you probably haven't seen yet, or maybe you did, I don't know. So now we have these lights, right? And one of the tightest things about Cinema 4D, and that's why, well, there's plenty of things that are tight about it. It's the easiest to use and the fastest and most powerful for a single artist, if you ask me. So the best thing is that you can send your camera and your lights, and even you can send actually solid layers and stuff, 3D stuff, to After Effects. And the way you do that is under here you have Compositing project file, and you just say save, and I don't have any 3D data, so which would be like if I took this plane and do you want me to do that? I guess I can if you want me to. Okay, if you insist, I'll do that. So let's get this plane, stick it back here, like that, right? Okay, now let's say we want a video or whatever, something on this plane that we're going to add in After Effects. Now you say I could add an object buffer, which I will do too, but then that wouldn't track it in 3D space. So when the camera pulls up, the thing would be the same size in After Effects. It wouldn't look right. So the way you deal with that is, firstly, let's add an object buffer. We'll give it buffer 5, and then that's a normal compositing tag. For this, we need the powered up external compositing tag. Dun dun dun, and then we can say make a solid, and we'll make it 800 by 400. I could just look at this and be like, it's exactly 800 by wait, no, I fooled myself. Whatever. You can change it in After Effects. But so what it's going to do is it's going to make a solid in my After Effects composition that's the same size or in the same 3D space. So when I bring the camera over, it can match up the element, which I'll show you. So I just added another buffer, right? So I have to go add another object buffer. 5. Okay. So now we have this super exciting scene. Oh my god, this is intense. Oh god. So we're ready to render it. So let's just set an output path. Let's put it in the folder I was running that music video to. Let's call it tutorial, if that's what you want to call this travesty that I'm creating right now. Is this helping anybody? I doubt it. You're probably all just hating my life. Let's call it tester. Okay. So let's make sure everything's correct. We have alpha channels. We have all of our passes. Yes. Post effects. I'll just put that there because I'm anal and crazy. Okay. Anti-aliasing. Yeah, sure, guy. Options. Yeah, that's great. Oh, I'm going to show you something else that's kind of cool about Z-Blur. So Z-Blur gives you a preview too. So you can go like this and see, it shows you a preview of your depth pass. So you can fine tune it, and then this will update if you click auto. So that's another reason I like Z-Blur. You asked me, I mean, you're like, I gotta buy that, but you gotta buy Cactus Dance plugins too. So yeah. Alright, so now we're ready to render. So how? You're saying, how do we render? How do we render out there? Well, people of the world, I'm going to show you how to render. I know you're like, that's impossible, but we're going to do it right now. Yes, right here. And then we're going to, oh my god, we're rendering. So I'm just pressing this button to render to picture viewer. So as you can see, if you look here, the renders super fast because it's multi-threaded, but the Z-Blur takes a little bit longer because it's only single-threaded. And if you want to be a geek, we can look right here and see it. So, multi-threading, single-threading, multi-threaded, single-threaded. Okay, enough of that. So I'm going to pause the video or wait, you can actually see if it's getting all your layers too. You go here, single pass, and now it'll show you all of your passes so that we know that is correct, which it is. Okay, so I'm going to pause this because you just don't want to hear me, prattle on until it's done. And then we'll go into After Effects. Alright, see you then. Okay, bye. Alright, now we're here in After Effects. The render finished. And if you remembered, I clicked to save out that After Effects project file. So I guess I should do that because if I do keyboard shortcuts, you can't see them. Alright, so I'm just going to go to Import. And here's where all the rendered files went. And all these millions and billions and gazillions of files that would probably take forever if I had to like select them all, and oh my god, that would just be a huge headache and I would die. Luckily we have Cinema 4D to the rescue, which generates this After Effects project file which I import, and if I double click here is the project, there's my post, whatever, and here's all the passes. So I'm pressing Control / or whatever. What is that? It's the one next to Shift on the right. I don't know. So it drops in a layer. So now we have our RGB, right? And firstly, let's bring in our buffer 1, which is that one, right? So this is how I colored them. Now you probably could, like, I don't know, go like that. I don't know. I like more control, so I use Luma mats with solids. So I'm going to make a solid, make it white, put it underneath the pass, and then go track matte Luma. So now it's white, and then I can adjust the solid and do stuff to it. So now, just to show you, it really works. Oh my god. Okay, let's bring in buffer 2, which was this tie, and now let's make a pink solid. There we go. Same thing. Where's buffer 2? Put it on top of this, and then go Luma matte. So it's using the luminance of the pass to define what's transparent, what isn't. So what should we do with the buildings? Because we have everything. See, there's our buildings. What should we do with those? Maybe let's import some video or something from the music video thing I did. Let's bring in porn. What is that? I used that in the video actually, if you saw it. Let's bring in this TV noise. No, let's bring in Humphead. I didn't use that in the video. Let's bring in this clip of Bonk's Adventure. Okay, because it's actually how I did something in the video too. Do not use this, it's copywritten, blah blah. No, actually I got it off Creative Commons. So, and then I'm gonna go time remap, because I want to get it from like over here. It's automatically keyframed. Let's go there, go forward in time. Yeah, that's great, amazing. So you may be saying, what are you doing with that footage? It's on top of your stuff and it looks like crap. Well, I'm going to go in there and do the same thing. Dick. So now it's on there, but let's change the transfer mode. No, that doesn't look right. Yeah, sure. So now it's like videos projected on the buildings or something. So, see, that's one of the things you can do with object buffers. So I find it super amazing. What else do we bring out? Oh, we have that plane, right? Where is that plane? Okay, yeah, here we go. So remember when I put the external compositing tag and I said to save out the 3D thing? So here's that plane, right? So if we didn't do the 3D compositing tag, we'll make a video too just to show you that it works. Let's Altered Beast. No, let's take Splatterhouse. Splatterhouse main. Scale it up. Same thing. I want to take it from further in the video. Let's go like that. Okay. Rick's killing people, trying to find his girlfriend. I don't even think they should be together, if you ask me. She's just always, okay, whatever. So, oh, I did this wrong. I did this all wrong. What you want to do is, yeah, why did I do that? I'm a robot. Is find the solid, which is right here, that it generated, and then all you have to do is click on it, click on this, hold down Option, and go like that. And then it replaces it. So if I go like that, and then I have to scale it up because it's too small, obviously, like that. But right now it's underneath this stuff, I think. Okay, oh, and there's lights in here, so ha ha ha. So now it's in place in 3D, right? It's like moving, but it's blocking this dude's head. So that's what we want the buffer for, and I shouldn't have used it here. I should have known. So then we want the buffer, and then Luma matte that. There we go. So now it's cutting it out. There's video playing on it, and it's tracked. But you're probably confused. Hopefully you're not confused because I'm going really fast, but I'm a busy guy. I got chairs to sit on. So now video's playing on it and it's tracked in 3D. So that's both the result of using the object buffer to cut it out and the 3D compositing tag, the external compositing tag to generate the 3D layer. So there, now we have that. Oh yeah, we have the depth pass. So the depth pass is right here, or it's down here. We'll put it on top. Just so, like, there's a lot more things you can do with the depth pass than just use a plugin to do depth of field, whatever. It's a really good thing to create depth in your scene, and this is something that I never did before. I didn't do it on my last movie, but I did it on this new one. Is that I would only render out depth passes if I was going to apply depth of field or like bokeh, like camera blur or whatever. But now I just rendered out for every scene because it just makes it much more flexible that you can add depth effects like that. So it's using, and then we can go, turn this down a little bit, just leave it like that. So this doesn't look perfect, but you get the picture, right? So, in real life, when something's further away, it's lower in contrast. So, and I mean, there's atmosphere, caves, and stuff like that. So by using these depth passes, you can define where that haze is, or, I mean, you could even, one of the other things you can do is desaturate the images based on the distance too, which is something I think happens in real life too, or at least happens in the world that I make up in my head. So we can create an adjustment layer, and then we would want a hue and saturation. Oh no, you just ruined my layout. You ruined it. So let's show you an extreme effect. So this is taking away all the color in the whole scene, right? But then if I get that to do that depth pass again, right? And then use this as LumaMat, but reverse LumaMat, oops. So now it's leaving the color in the front or wherever this stuff is, and then we can just adjust the opacity to, so there, as you see it here, it's like full color, and then now it's like fading the saturation, if you can see that. So if you know how, maybe do now. Even if you don't know what you're going to do with them, if you're making something, just always render a depth pass, because you can use it for more than depth field blurring. I could make some, or get some footage of fog or something and actually composite that using the depth pass, and there's just a ton of other things you can do with it. So I wanted to keep this video under an hour, and it's almost at an hour, so I'm going to stop here because there's a million other things I can show you, like in compositing this and getting the look. Oh, that's right. I forgot. I totally forgot. It's gonna disappear if I do that. Okay. Where is that? Where is you? I don't know. Well, we don't care. Okay. So I'm turning these lights on, so it's making that solid go away because it's in 3D space. I would fix that, but for this I'm not going to, because I just don't care. Remember when I put these lights in the scene? See these lights? Or is this even getting the full picture? No, it's not. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Oh wait, that's the wrong thing. Fit. You were missing half the scene. You were like, it was like cropped for an airplane. So, remember I put those lights in? So it rendered those lights out. Or didn't render them, but it brought them in here, and they're doing the exact same thing in After Effects. So you can use After Effects' 3D system to put lights on, or do whatever you want. Light 3D objects, put new 3D solids and stuff in here. Oh shit, it's almost an hour. So like everyone else, I have Andrew Kramer's awesome optical flares, right? So I'm going to apply those. I think. Oh, I need to apply them to a layer. Right, yeah. I panicked because I'm running out of time. So yeah, I'm going to apply them to this layer, right? And then I'm going to say track lights. And then I'm going to do add transfer mode, add, and then check it out. Now we have 3D lights in the scene. Nothing with spotlights, they track it in 3D. And that was all super easy thanks to Cinema 4D. So this was just like a preliminary tutorial. I'm going over an hour. Oh my god, everyone's going to laugh at me. This was just a preliminary one So I don't really know. I didn't like write out a plan or whatever. I was just, screwing around with both and trying to show you some stuff. So, but I'm gonna make like a formal series in the future pretty soon. So if there's any stuff, but I do everything pretty much from creating a story, writing a script, storyboarding, creating animatics, modeling everything, rigging it, doing an animation, the compositing, the visual effects. Like I know how to do everything pretty much. So if I do a tutorial, I don't know what specifically to show you. So in the comments, or if you want to go to my blog and leave a comment there and tell me specifically what you want to learn, because I have my ideas about like what there is out there. Like there's a lot of basic modeling stuff, and so I don't want to do those things that everyone else can do or that is already out there. I want to do the things that there aren't tutorials for. So I have my ideas about that, but if you could let me know what you think those things are, I would totally appreciate it. How do I go to full screen mode? Full screen mode. What is it again? No, it's not that. Whatever. Yeah, so if you can let me know, because wouldn't it be sweet if like I finished it in full screen mode and you were like, oh my god, it's like full screen mode. But I can't. Oh no. Let's play this. Dun 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 dun. So let me know what you want tutorials about, and I will make them in my spare time as I'm waiting for renders. Okay, your pal M. Strange saying peace out, West Coast, West Side, every day, all day, till the day I die. Okay, bye.